The crypto market has just taken quite a heavy blow with the announcement that CZ, the chief executive of Binance, will step down from his position, pay a massive $4 billion fine, as well as plead guilty to violating criminal U.S. anti-money laundering requirements in hopes that the exchange may continue operating. Now, you guys know I'm not much of a news or fundamentals guy, so let's dive into the charts and see if this sell-off is 100% fundamental based or if the technicals were already hinting at some kind of a correction anyways. And just by taking a quick glance at my chart, you can see that we actually have some very well respected technicals with or without this news. So just looking at this upward sloping trend line here, we have several nice touch points, pretty much exact. And then even it's kind of funny that this news kind of broke right as we started flipping that support into resistance and seeing that dump to the downside from there. So I mean, even if we didn't hear the news at all and we were just looking at these technicals, I mean, that's a typical thing that I talk about on this channel all the time, is watching for support to flip into resistance. Yes, obviously, this could be quite the devastating blow, as I mentioned, that actually just sends us into more of a free fall. But that hasn't happened yet. And I mean, yes, we got to move forward with a little bit of caution here, guys, because Binance is obviously the biggest exchange in the crypto market, so that's a very serious thing coming to light here. But on top of that support flip into resistance, you can see even the resistance line that I had mapped out here, again, we just had 3 perfect touch points there as resistance. Would have been nice to see us obviously get that break to the upside and do the exact opposite, but it is what it is. So, I mean, just basically looking for targets. Actually, another thing I wanted to point out was just from eyeballing it here, I can tell right now, you guys know when I look at Fibonacci's, I love that 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. So just looking for where we might see some kind of a rejection here on the 4-hour, or actually this is the 1-hour chart, sorry. I would go from, I'm pulling top to bottom because I'm looking for resistance. So I'm pulling from our local top here and down to our local low here. And if I extend that, lo and behold, look what we have right in my 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. So, I mean, it's very possible that we would have been seeing this rejection anyways, because that's already a few things that are lining up absolutely perfect from a technical perspective there. Just to bring up a few indicators, let's see what the MDX Algo indicators are saying here. I'm going to flip them all on here, everything that I'm using. Just looking up here at my band oscillator up here, you can see that as we were testing this level here, our third touch point on that resistance level and in that Fibonacci pocket, you can see that this thing was just flashing a bunch of regular bearish divergences here, which is often a reversal warning. And I mean, we're seeing that a hell of a lot sooner than we saw the news about CZ there. So once again, the technicals just kind of hinting that maybe this was about to happen anyways. As well, my advanced oscillator down here, you can see that once again, we had this bearish regular divergence here lining up very well with the technicals there. So yeah, and actually even getting rid of those indicators, let's take a look at my more favorite indicator here. My advanced trend indicator. You can see that it actually started mapping out just when we got this bit of a rejection here. It started mapping out this supply zone, just showing that, you know, the bulls may have a little bit of trouble there because there's obviously a bunch of people looking to offload their crypto there. So a lot of people selling this resistance. So once again, just another thing lining up. As well, my auto charting tools here did point out a lower high. You can see that, yes, we had this higher high. We did have another lower high, but then we did also get this one pointed out here. I'm not sure how that works, that it's a lower high and then a higher lower high. But whatever, it is what it is. The indicator was pointing this out as a potential top as well. So there's just a whole bunch of technicals here, guys, that we're saying that we may be getting ready to see a little bit of a correction. So whether or not this news happened, I would actually say, and I mean, obviously anything can happen. We are far from in the clear at this point. Like I said, we have to proceed with caution, guys, because the floor could absolutely give way with something like this. We're going to have to see how that court case goes and stuff like that. I'm actually in a position not on Bitcoin or even BNB. I'm in a bit of a short on TIA, but I'll go into that in a little bit. Just looking at this, yeah, it just, as you can see, I mean, just while I was here with you, the indicator once again pointing out more supply here. So I think that's more showing up with the news coming into play here. And yeah, we're going to have to see what happens here. As far as looking for targets, I mean, I'm currently looking at, you can see I have these yellow lines mapped out. Just looking at the potential that, you know, hey, we have quite often earlier on in a range, you'll get 2 touch points of a trend line and they'll extend and end up getting a third or even more touch points from there. So you can see that we did in fact get these 2 touch points on the support line, and then it did extend and we got a third touch point here. So, you know, it's absolutely possible that we're going to come back down and test this support once again. Does it have to happen? Absolutely not. Some other levels I'd be interested in watching would be looking for Fibonacci levels from the opposite end. Just going from where we last touched this support line, pulling from bottom to top here, where we topped out after that touch. And, you know, maybe once again, actually, that's quite beautiful in my opinion that we have this 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket lining up quite nicely with that with that diagonal upward sloping trend line there. So a few things lining up with this yellow trend line, in my opinion. I'm personally not all too bearish on the market yet. Yes, I'm in a scalp short right now. I'm definitely willing to scalp both directions. I really don't have that much of a preference. Typically speaking, I would say I am more naturally long bias. Right now, given the circumstances, I just have to lean a little bit bearish with my scalping. But again, I am going to be proceeding with caution, quick to get in, and start locking in some profits and updating my stop loss, that kind of thing, and hoping to catch a runner. Let's just hop over and see what happened to BNB with this news, because I mean, obviously Bitcoin's reacting a little bit. BNB has just been, well, it basically jumped off a cliff here. As you can see, where did we top out here? We ended up getting, well, close to a 20% correction, between 15 and 20% correction already. And just how long was this? This is just in 2 4-hour candles here. Well, 3 if you want to count that one. But basically the last half day, if that, it's already nuked 15 to 20% there. So that's pretty crazy as well. As far as the technicals go with this one, yeah, it doesn't look great. Obviously, we've lost this trending support here, this upward sloping support. We even got this little breakout where we got above this resistance here. But then we ended up just, it was more of a fake out. We ended up just absolutely dumping. We even lost our higher low here. So things are not looking good for BNB in my opinion. Where it topped out is actually quite interesting. Now, usually I like exact touch points on trend lines, so I am giving this one a little bit of wiggle room, so take it for what it is. But even as far as a downward sloping resistance level, I mean, this isn't all too crazy to see some type of a rejection here, because, I mean, yes, these weren't exact touches, but kind of more the middle ground of this little range here. You can see we were tapping away at this line right here, and then with that third touch getting that harsh rejection. So again, the technicals are kind of lining up with that one, but I do think that this one is very heavily news-based here. As much of a technicals guy I am over fundamentals and news, I still, you know, there are those black swan events. There are things that happen in the fundamentals that kind of give the market that kickstart that it needs to go one direction. So, you know, absolutely, this one's going to be a little bit dangerous moving forward. Obviously, I'm not sure if Binance is going to survive or shut down or anything like that. I have a hard time believing that Binance is just going to completely shut down. I'm sure they probably have somebody who's going to step into place, and I'm sure it will carry on business as usual, but obviously anything is possible. So just be cautious moving forward, you guys. I also want to touch on TIA here. I did take a little bit of a short just earlier up at these levels here. I ended up closing 2/3 of my position just before going live here, and then I was able to start my video. So basically what I was looking at, Well, we even got this bit of a bullish cross here. You can see, actually, let me get rid of a few things here. Basically, we had a bunch of bullish crosses down here on my EMAs, but then we were having a hard time gaining any momentum. And then right about here, we actually got one of those failed breaks again, where we broke above this resistance, but it was just a harsh rejection there. Take it for what it is. This is a 1 minute. You guys know I love to scalp, so I'm looking at more of a shorter time frame here. But I ended up taking that. We ended up seeing, well, also just above us, we had so many supply zones. There was just a lot of resistance looking at this coin here. So, yeah, just leaning a little bit short bias here. But yeah, we ended up seeing all these supply zones come in. We even ended up losing one of these EMAs right here with this engulfing candle here. And that's kind of when I decided to pull the trigger and go short. And yeah, then we started getting these bearish flips. As we got this little bounce here, since, you know, things were starting to look a little bit green here. Actually, another thing I wanted to point out about this entry was that I had this little red dot here, which is signaling that there might have been a little downward momentum catching up here, as well as a stablecoin indicator here. I had a hidden bearish divergence here, so there was a few things showing that this strength may not be able to continue, especially with today's market sentiment. I'm just leaning more to the side of scalping shorts today. But yeah, where I ended up taking profits, these green dotted lines here are my first two take profits. I still have a third of my position running, but just we had a few things lining up here where the indicators were all, you know, we were starting to see bullish pivot. We got this reversal warning, higher low formed here on the auto trending indicators here. Had some of these oversold condition dots on my advanced oscillator down here. And as well, we were just starting to see some of these regular bullish divergence and stuff like that on the stablecoin indicator. So I just wanted to make sure that I locked in at least a third of my position before starting this stream. And then this second take profit here, you guys probably already know where I'm going to go with this. But again, you just using my Fibonacci's and seeing where this dump might get rejected. So rather than looking for rejection, I'm looking for more of support. So I'm pulling my Fibonacci from this swing low here up to where we topped out. And what do you know? Once again, we're testing that 786-886 Fibonacci pocket. So that's where I ended up closing the second third of this position. And my main reason for leaving a third of this position open right now is just because, you know, given the sentiment in the market as a whole, I just see potential that this thing could just keep running. Especially, I just want to zoom out on this thing because obviously on the 1 minute is one thing. But when I really zoom out, this coin has just absolutely exploded since its listing here. Just clean things up a little bit. You can see that this coin had pumped, what was it, 250% from when it launched. Just when was this? A couple of weeks ago, basically. So that's just another reason why I think that, you know, there may be a deeper correction. There's at least potential to fill some of these much lower levels, especially if we are going. I'm not saying this has to happen, but obviously if we do end up testing some of those lower Fibonacci's, I mean, there could be quite the runner on our hands. So I just want to hold on to at least a bit of a short position if I can get into a nice safe one like this. Hopefully some of you guys were able to get in on this coin, actually. I know I made a video about it. I made a Twitter post about it. I mentioned it a few times that the BingX crypto exchange was actually giving my followers with my referral link an airdrop of this coin. You were able to get, I believe it was $100 worth of this coin for free. I unfortunately wasn't not able to take part in this event. That's just another reason why I'm scalping shorts on it, because I'm a little bitter about missing it. Maybe it's a little bit out of spite here, but hopefully some of you were able to cash in on that, because that was absolutely free money. I mean, looking at it, if you were able to catch that move, I mean, that was a free few hundred USDT if you were able to catch that. So if you did, congrats to you. But yeah, that's a nice volatile one. I've actually been scalping this coin quite a bit recently just because volatility's been so nice, and it's actually had decent volume, and the price action has I mean, the technicals have been quite well respected in my opinion. So that's kind of been my altcoin of choice lately for trading. So we'll see what happens with the rest of my position. I do have a stop loss in a very small profit on the rest of my position, but I'm hoping to just hang on to it and catch a bigger runner on this one. So anyways, guys, that's about all I have to say. So if you appreciated this video, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you do want access to these beautiful indicators, the VIP Discord, as well as a couple no KYC crypto exchanges, I've got a few referral links down below for some special bonuses, discounts, and that sort of thing. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.